Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Speaker, the House today is paying tribute to a predecessor in office of the very office that you are in, as well as one of those dominant political figures among Muslims in this country. The late M H Mohamed was a rare Muslim leader whose political views, as former President Mahinda Rajapaksa a while ago stated in the House, transcended narrow communal boundaries. Throughout his colorful political journey, he was an effective mobilizer of broad alliances of people, irrespective of ethnic, religious, or linguistic differences. This made him a formidable force in metropolitan Colombo. He claimed an unbroken record of representing the predominantly Sinhala-dominated Boralla constituency under the first past the post system of elections that prevailed in the past. I can confidently say that nobody who came to know the late M H Mohamed left his presence unaffected by his simple charm. He had his own independent views, and he had many detractors and adversaries. But all in all, they all agreed that he fought fierce battles but retained his warm humanity. His advent to politics coincided with the socio-political transformation that began in the watershed year of 1956. Sangha Guru Govi Kamkaru e Viplaviya 1956 ඒ කාල වකවානුවේ කොළඹ මහනගරාධිපති හැටියට නාගරික මේ දේශපාලනයට පිවිසු එතුමා මේ රටේ දේශපාලනයේ විප්ලවීය චරිතයක් හැටියට අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන්. He also adroitly maneuvered the Colombo Municipal Council elections soon after the debacle of 1956, in which the United National Party suffered one of its worst defeats. He ensured that the party wins the election to demonstrate to the dejected party ranks after its humiliating defeat that the party retained and remained strong at its core, the municipal politics of Colombo. Thus, the late M H Mohamed, in the prime of his political career, acquired the aura of a colossus in the public discourse of the nation. He was thrust on the national stage as the bright young mayor of Colombo, whose election as the first Muslim mayor of Colombo in January 1960 marked the revival of the then beleaguered United National Party. Mr. Speaker, he was also a mentor and advisor not only to young Muslims but also to many Sinhala and Tamil personalities who sought entry to politics and public life through the Colombo Municipal Council. He played a pioneering role in many Muslim community-based organizations and was equally dynamic in other social enterprises. He played a leading role in the Old Boys Association of his alma mater, Wesley College of Colombo. He extended his generous patronage to Buddhist and Christian social initiatives, not because he was a politician, but because of his many friends in those fields who actively sought his counsel and support. He found immense satisfaction in politics. He was a fine craftsman in the exercise of manipulation of power to reach his goals and objectives. He often, in private, confessed that he disliked unending petty political fights that was characteristic of elected office. Of course, they were necessary, he said reluctantly, to get something done. He was a quintessential City Hall politician. He remained steadfast to the personal style of political networking, which is a sine qua non in municipal politics. That was also the foundational strength of his political trajectory. In 1965, Mr. Speaker, he was made Minister of Labour in the cabinet of Prime Minister Dadli Senanayake. In his parliamentary career of 6 decades, he served under Presidents Jaya Jayawardena, D.B. Wijayatunga, and President Ranasinghe Premadasa. His illustrious peers were men in the caliber of Dr. M.C.M. Khalil, Sir Razik Farid, Jabir Khader, Falil Kafoor, and Halim Ishaq. Their cosmopolitan worldview placed them in unique pantheon of Muslim leaders of Sri Lanka. Forged on the anvil of municipal politics, where personal relations are lifelong commitments, late M H Mohamed acquired steely resolve and an Arabian ease. He willingly opened doors of opportunity to all ethnic groups. We have got to bear in mind that we all love and care for the same values he insisted and instilled. He expressed his views honestly and forthrightly. He continued to comment on public issues. He was active right until the very end. Mr. Speaker, he was also, as mentioned earlier, one of the founder members of the Rabitatul Alamul Islami, the World Muslim League that has its head office in the holy city of Mecca. And he had many friends in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and elsewhere in the Muslim world. So much so, whenever we attend conferences outside this country relating to Islam and Muslims, there would be many who would approach us and ask whether we knew Mr. Mohammed and inquired after his health. So, and he set up the Islamic Center, and through the Islamic Development Bank, assisted many worthy students to pursue their educational career when they're faced with adversity. He was also one of those early ministers in charge of the Muslim religious and cultural affairs who had pioneered the state-sponsored Hajj pilgrimage programs, which functioned very smoothly under his leadership. He came from a very proud lineage of politics, from his NDH Abdul Qadir and various others who were one of the earliest members of the Legislative Assembly in this country. Coming from a proud legacy and lineage, he also has left behind his heirs. His 2 sons, Hussein and Shah al-Hamid, had also been involved in politics, and I am sure that all of us will, in this country's Muslim political sphere, could never forget the trailblazing impact that a colossal figure like M H Mohamed has left behind. I believe any tribute to him should also include some of the tribulations that he faced in his life. The Honorable Dinesh Gunawardena, the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and many others from the SLMC will remember the controversial impeachment motion and the impeachment that was brought against Mr. M H Mohamed. There, I would like to quote my late leader, M Ashraf, in stout defense of the then Speaker, Mohammed, he says this: if the Speaker had made a mistake on the first occasion, he has every right to remedy it now. We are lawyers. There are hundreds of judges. We have the Supreme Court. Every day judgments are being reversed. Hundreds of injunctions are ex parte given. Writs are issued. Stay orders are given on ex parte hearings supported by affidavits. But the day you go and present the other story, the other side of the story, the court has inherent powers because uberima fide, the absolute faith is broken. The trust established between the court and the man who asks for the relief is broken. The court will say, you shall no longer be heard. You are not entitled to that right. This is the legal position. Therefore, if the Speaker has made a mistake on the first occasion, then I am of the view that the second act of rejection is a matter which was exercised in good faith. I am quoting Mr. M H Ashraf. Therefore, these are matters on which we like to hear further submissions. If I am satisfied at the end of the day that in light of the arguments that are presented, there was a dishonest rejection of the impeachment motion, I shall not hesitate to vote for the no confidence motion. But if I am not satisfied, once again, in keeping with the pledge that I have promised to uphold, namely the Constitution, a man, whoever he may be, we should not sling mud and shall not hesitate to give the benefit of the doubt to the Honourable Speaker and acquit him of this serious allegation. These were the words of my late leader in defense of Honourable M H Mohamed, whose decisions in that controversial impeachment motion ended up in an impeachment on himself. So I think this is, those who have been in that parliament, those days I was in the galleries watching this whole drama, and most of you who are in the House today who had been involved on either side of the debate then, at that time our current Prime Minister was on the side of late President Premadasa, and that was one of those days in which this whole House and its integrity came into serious question, but particularly the office of Speaker. I must say, with whoever who had been members in this House between 89 and 94 would vouch that Mr. M H Mohamed, despite whatever controversy, was one of those speakers who had absolute control of the House. When he sat in the chair and he dispensed his duties as the custodian of the rights of the members in a very even-handed manner and earned the respect of both sides of the House. It is with a heavy heart that we pay this tribute to one of those colossal figures from among the Muslims who strolled the political firmament of this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.